Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Cayman. It is nice to be back on here with you guys. Trying to turn up the volume here. So, good afternoon again, Cayman, and happy Wednesday. It is nice to be back on here with everyone. Some of you reached out to me and asked what was going on. I was missing. And so I had that very, very, very nasty flu. And honestly, I thought I was going to literally die. I thought I was having a heart attack. And so it turns out I had influenza 2, which is the worst kind of flu that anyone can catch. And so I had that for about a week and a half, and that's the first time in my life I ever had a flu. So that's where I was, but I hope everyone had a good Christmas and had a very enjoyable and memorable New Year. Mine was pretty quiet, and so today was just a day that I found a little time that I decided to jump on and do a live. Now this live is not about immigration, so let's not start asking immigration questions. Let's not ask questions about the new driver's license fees and the new immigration fees and so forth. Some of those fees, like I had said before, are coming on. Most of the immigration stuff are coming on March 1st, 2026. So there will be some other things that I want to talk about probably this weekend. But for today, I wanted to talk about off-reg. They're doing a consultation which actually ends tomorrow. They extended it until tomorrow, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about Department of Labor and how you can file complaints with Department of Labor and Department of Work to protect yourself. But first, I wanted to share this beautiful calendar here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's a calendar from BAF. BAF is an insurance company located on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park, and I've never had one of their calendars before, but I just wanted to take the time and point it out. No, I can't. No, decline. I don't want anyone to co-chat with me. I'm sorry. Thank you for the invite, but not this time. But this little calendar here, even if you're not a customer or client of BAF, I encourage everyone to go and grab a calendar. They're free. The only downside of these little calendars is there's no way to hang it. So BAF, for future references, please make these calendars either able to stand on your desk or to hang on the wall. Put a little hanger there. But these are the cutest calendars. They depict art of some of our children in our local schools. And Miss Sybil McLaughlin, who's being honored as one of our national heroines in the upcoming days, is also depicted in some of the art. But this calendar for this year, 2026, is depicting art of our very local students across the islands, and they are so beautiful. I'm so disappointed that the calendar cannot be hung on the wall, or it's just a calendar you just have in your hand and you can pick it up and use it if you need it. But it is a beautiful, beautiful calendar. Usually every year I jump to get Cayman National calendars because they are always awesome. Very, very local stuff is always featured on Cayman Islands Cayman National Bank CNB's calendars every year. So I've been collecting them for about maybe 17 years or so. Theirs this year is featured about sporting events in the Cayman Islands. It's disappointing they didn't have more about our children, but this has a lot of beautiful art by our children and a lot of depiction of old traditional Caymanian memories, buildings, art, some of everything. So whether you're Caymanian or non-Caymanian, if you're living on island, visiting here, go to BAF and get one of these calendars. If they run out, tell them to reprint them because it's such a treasure calendar and it's free. Usually when you find these types of calendars, they're not really that free, you know, and they're not this cute, but this is really pretty. So I wanted to say that. So moving on, some of you have been reaching out about the new immigration, you know, laws that will be coming online. So I said I don't want to talk about immigration, but I will talk about immigration and labor in the context of you protecting yourselves. So the Cayman Islands have what we call the Bill of Rights in our Constitution. I'm getting my other glasses that stays onto my face because people ask me, why are you always troubling your glasses? My glasses have a tendency to slip off my face, so I have two pairs. But we have what we call the Bill of Rights in our Constitution. I think they need to be a little bit more modernized, but the Bill of Rights are for anyone that operates, resides, whatever happens within this jurisdiction of the Cayman Islands. The Bill of Rights is there to protect or to govern anything or anyone that, you know, takes place within the borders of the Cayman Islands. And so those Bill of Rights are not only for Caymanians. I am a Caymanian, I'm a generational Caymanian as far back as you can go, but I am also someone who believes in human rights as much as possible. I believe in protecting my Caymanian rights, my Caymanian people's rights, because in every country there are rights for the natives, the generational, the ancestral people of the country, but there are also rights for people who are in the jurisdiction of the country. And so I am pro-Caymanian, if you understand that word. I am for my Caymanians first and foremost, full stop, point blank. But I am also for advocating for the rights of others as much as possible, so people can live and enjoy as free as they can. And that doesn't mean to be okay with work permit holders or other people coming in here and taking over the Cayman Islands. That's not what I'm saying. Far from it, right? But it does mean that, like I said, I am for your human rights, anyone's human rights, whether my Caymanians, visitors, residents, work permit holders, Caymanian status, whatever. And so I say that to say, if you are here working and you are feeling as though you are being mistreated, taken advantage of, you're not being paid the right wages, your contract isn't, if you signed a contract, your contract is not fair, or the negotiations, you know, whatever you may feel. Sometimes people feel that things are not fair and things are not done right on their employment, and sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's not true, it's just what people think that should be true. So I say that to say, if you are on a job, let me go back a minute. The new immigration laws, again, don't start asking me questions about immigration. I know where I'm going, but the new immigration laws will make it a bit more challenging for people to job hop. And many of you have written to me concerned about that. If you are on a job and the employer is not treating you fairly, is not paying you fairly, not paying you for holidays, overtime, you know, that sort of thing, how can you protect yourself in order to possibly change jobs when the new regulation, the new rules come online, the new immigration laws? And so I am not a lawyer. I'm not qualified. I'm not a qualified lawyer in the Cayman Islands. There are a lot of immigration lawyers here that I know that I can recommend if anybody reaches out to me and say, hey, I need an immigration lawyer. But separate and apart from that, I would venture to recommend to people. Protect yourself. And by protecting yourself, that means you can file complaints with the Department of Work if it's work permit related, and you can file complaints with the Department of Labor and Pension. Now, these complaints can be anonymous, or you can put your name to them and request for them to be anonymous unless you request for investigations to be done. I want to say that again. You can file complaints anonymously with the Department of Labor and Pension and with the Department of Work in regards to your employment or your employers or conditions on your employment, on your job, whatever those may be. Many of you, even Caymanians, even Caymanians have reached out and they're afraid of losing their jobs. And for different reasons, they're afraid of losing their jobs too. So I say to my fellow Caymanians also that you can also file complaints to work about your employment or lack thereof. If you feel things are not happening the way they should happen, or you were passed over for a job, or there are people that are on the job that are non-Caymanians that are taking advantage of you, or if it's another Caymanian, whatever the reason, you can protect yourself by filing complaints with these relevant departments. And you can do that through various means, various different channels, avenues, accesses, right? So many of you spend hours and hours and hours on social media. I see you. You reach out to me. You're on the talk shows. You're on some of the popular blogs for hours on end and making comments, calling in, that sort of thing. And you want me to do the homework for you. Well, I'm not going. The only homework I'm going to do is to give you the contact information to get in touch with these departments. These are your cases, your situations, and you are the person that has to advocate or represent yourself unless you get a lawyer. And lawyers are not only there to file cases in court for you. Lawyers are there that they can write a letter for you to an employer. They can write a letter for you so you can sign it yourself. Lawyers do a ton of stuff. So if you feel you can't put a letter together to write to work or write to the Department of Labor or an email, you can contact a lawyer and they'll charge you a very minimal fee to draft that letter for you or draft that email for you. And you can sign your name to it, or they can sign on your behalf representing you just for that reason. And you can protect yourself. And by protecting yourself, I mean to write a letter and have it on file, write an email and have it on file, have it documented that you're going through certain situations on your job. Again, my fellow Caymanians or non-Caymanians, this is the advice and the recommendation I am giving you. Protect yourself. Caymanians, you can make a representation anonymously or on your own behalf to these departments and explaining what the situations are in regards to your employment or non-employment or applying for employment. Work permit holders, you can make you can write in also and protect yourself, so in case you do need to change your job. Because for example, if you're in an employment that's not paying you fair wages, not paying you overtime, not paying you for holidays and weekends differently, and it's depending on what your contract is. Number one, I would recommend everyone that's offered a job get a contract. And a contract is just something simple. It could be one page, it could be a number of pages, but a contract is the agreement of what will happen while you're employed with that employer. Your pay, your position, your duties that are expected. Now, the problem is that many work permit holders will just go along with whatever because they're so anxious they're so happy to get a work permit here in the Cayman Islands, and they want to work, and they don't want their employers to write negatively to a work or Department of Labor on them. So this is where you come in to protect yourself, because you have that right too. You have the very same right that the employers have to write into Department of Labor and Pension and the Department of Work to protect yourself. So if you are having a problem on the job and you write in a letter and say, or an email and say, I just want to put this on file. I want to be on file to say this is what's been happening to me, or how can I handle this? You can even write asking for advice. They will not approach the employer unless it is something extreme that the employer is doing against the law outside of them needing your permission to contact the employer. But if it's something that needs investigating and them representing you, especially Department of Labor, they have a tendency to represent the client. Work will be like a mediator, a person that goes in between and hold everybody accountable, the employer and the employee. But that doesn't mean that you don't have rights if you're here on a work permit. Caymanians have rights, employers have rights, but employees and non-Caymanians also have rights. That's the way the law is set up. Caymanians are always going to be first and foremost when it comes, there should be, let me say that, when it comes to being considered for jobs. Everybody knows that by now. But that does not mean that the rights and laws are only for Caymanians or only for employers. So if you're having a problem, I'm repeating myself because some of you don't listen when I make these videos, and then you write me or you make your comments and you're feeling, well, can you tell me this and tell me that? And sometimes the videos are just right there and have been there for weeks and months. You have a right to file complaints, outright or anonymously. You have a right. You can do that by email, you can do it online on the websites, and you can call. Now, WORC has a toll-free number now, so for all those people who don't like to keep credit on their phone, most of you work permit holders, and some particular nationalities like to do it more than others. You know who you are. WORC now has a toll-free number, and I understand from the government in the government administration building, not the UF, not the formal MP ministerial government, but I understand that the government are trying their best for every government department to try and have a toll-free number. So anyone that has a Cayman Islands number, regardless of the carrier, will be able to call the departments toll-free. Now, when you call toll-free, you're not going to be anonymous, unless you request to be anonymous. So listen to what I'm saying, good people. There's so much happening to protect Caymanians first, but everyone else in this country, because they're what they call, now this is my favorite stuff, human rights. And that deals with international stuff and as well as homegrown stuff. So the Cayman Islands have to operate with certain things by international standards. And that's standards that have to do with other organizations around the world. And those standards are to ensure that anyone that's living and working and residing and visiting in the Cayman Islands, whether it's Caymanians or non-Caymanians, have certain rights. And those rights have to be protected. Those rights have to be said and known to people. And so that's why I say, if you are having problems with your employment, Caymanian or not, contact the Department of Labor and Pension and contact the Department of Work. Caymanians can complain about other Caymanians. Caymanians can complain about work permit holders. Employees can complain about employers as much as employers can complain about employees. Just put something in writing. Don't call. I mean, I don't know if the staff will take something verbal over the phone. Usually, for it to be admissible, things have to be in writing, but verbal can also stand up as evidence also. And when I say as evidence, meaning in some instances staff may, I'm not saying for sure, but in some instances staff may be able to take some information and give you some advice. But I'm quite sure they're going to say, can you put it in an email? Can you send us a letter? And can you do it on our website? Governments of the Cayman Islands have rapidly, I wouldn't say rapidly, that's not the right word, have gradually, time bit by bit by bit, have been trying to come up to the standards of the other big nations around the world in terms of doing things online, electronically, technology-wise, and that sort of thing. So everything is basically online now, and you can call. And I know there's even talk I've heard of having WhatsApp numbers, so people can contact the department, some of the departments, different government departments, through WhatsApp. So that I understand is coming online pretty soon. Hopefully our Deputy Governor, the Honorable Franz Manderson, will spearhead that before he goes off. I know RCIPS needs it desperately, and WORC. Director Scott, that's one thing for you to put at the top of your list. Get a WhatsApp channel and a WhatsApp number that people can reach out to the department by, and also Department of Labor and Pension. So I want to give you the contact numbers. Most government departments now are streamlining through gov.ky. So if you Google or you just put in your search bar gov.ky, you will be able to search for most of the government departments. They're all, I understand, are being channeled through the gov.ky. So you'll have one central location to find all the government departments. Some are up and running, some are still being not revised, some are still not totally online. I know people have reached out about the Deputy Governor's naturalization portal, that was down. So like I said, they're all modernizing all of this, and they're doing it for all of you, well, all of us, including myself. I know we had the judicial, they did their website over recently, and it's a little bit more user-friendly now. So just be patient. If you can't get online for something, you can either reach out to me or you can call 949-7900. That's the General Government Administration, otherwise known as GAB building, and they can try to direct you to the relevant areas of government so you can get the information that you need. Or you can Google, like you like to get onto Facebook and Twitter and well, X and all those other places, and spend hours TikTok listening and reading and watching. You can Google for the relevant government departments. You have to help yourself, people. We don't want government spending millions and millions of dollars trying to get up to standard for the people that's connected to the Cayman Islands, and then they don't use the service. Like the courthouse, the judicial department, they track the amount of people that comes on their websites, so they can, I would assume that they're trying to see how many people are actually utilizing the website, because you have to help yourself. You really do. You can't expect us bloggers or vloggers or, whoever we're called to have all of the information for you. You're going to help yourself. So myegov.ky is the new government website, as well as you can do gov.ky. So my.egov.ky, or some departments you can still, let's just leave it like that, gov.ky or my.egov.ky. Write it down as I'm saying it. For all government departments, they're trying to come under that umbrella. I know it's a little confusing while it's all up and running, but hopefully by the end of February, everything will be organized. WORC. Their contact numbers is 945-9672, 949-8344, and the magic number, for all of you people who never has credit, is 1-800, you don't have to put the 1, but 800-534-9672. If you're in a country that allows toll-free calling, like the US, if I'm in the Cayman Islands, I can call on Wi-Fi to the US with toll-free numbers. I don't have to call directly if I don't want. You can use this toll-free number. Some people are reaching out to me from other countries. If your country allows toll-free calling, and best if it allows, check your phones, because these smartphones these days has Wi-Fi calling. So you don't actually have to have credit or WhatsApp. If you have Wi-Fi, you can actually go into your settings, set your phone to Wi-Fi calling, and you can call international. I bet you some of you didn't know that. But going back to WORC's contact, their toll-free number again is 1-800-534-9672. That is WORC. Their email address is worc@gov.ky. And if you want to file complaints, worcomplaints@gov.ky. So the word work, the word complaints @gov.ky. That's if you want to send an email to file a complaint. If you just want to send a general email, including complaints or anything else, it's worc@gov.ky. And I just want to do this little disclaimer here, because WORC's website says personal information processed and handled in accordance with the Data Protection Law 2017, the Whistle Protection Law 2015, and the Freedom of Information Law 2018 revision. So those are the laws that you can use, that the departments operate under for WORC. The DLP, Department of Labor and Pension, is dlp@gov.ky. Their phone number is 945-8960, and their website is gov.ky/DLP/ or just go on the Google it and you can find it like that. Their confidential hotline is 1-345-945-3073. That's their confidential hotline for the Department of Labor and Pension. Sorry, I thought I heard someone at the door. So again, I hope you've gotten that information. DLP@gov.ky, 945-8960. You can either Google Department of Labor and Pension, or you can gov.ky/DLP /. And again, their confidential hotline, if you just want to call confidentially, is 945-3073. Okay? So I don't know why I'm doing this, but I know some of you are still going to call. I mean, not call, but message me asking me questions. People, you need to protect yourself. I can't do it for you, and I'm not a lawyer. And there is such a thing as the unauthorized practice of law in the Cayman Islands under the Legal Practitioners Association Act. So anyone that doesn't have a law degree that tells you that they can write any legal letters for you or help you fill out or help you do forms to submit to the court's office is called the unauthorized practice of law. And people can get in trouble for it, including yourself if you become a client of that person. If you need immigration help, there's tons of immigration lawyers here. There's also what we call now immigration agencies. that works with the Department of Work very closely. I understand they're going to have to be certified very soon too. Government, that's a great idea. Certify these immigration. Not everybody should just be able to get a business license and say that they're an immigration agency, because a lot of these agencies are, I'm not going to use the word I want to use, but they are wrecking people's lives. They're not doing things properly, and people are having to pay extra money for things that could have been done right the very first time. People, be careful, be sensible. When even Caymanians, when you're asking some of these agencies to help you apply for the rights to work for your Caymanian spouses or Caymanian status under whatever grounds or permanent residence, you have to be very open-minded and express yourself with these agencies. It's like going to the doctor and you letting the doctor tell you everything when you know your condition, and you say nothing about what you know you're feeling in your body, right? You just say to the doctor, oh, I have the cold, and expect him to diagnose you. No, what symptoms are you feeling when you feel you have the cold? You have to say what's happening with you. So when you go to these agencies, don't let them really just on the surface tell you, oh, this is this and this is that. You have to ask questions. Always ask the fees up front. Always ask for the charges and the fees up front, because some of them are putting in applications for you that are not done right and that are being sent back, and then you have to pay extra fees and helping. And another thing that some of them should have is translators, because I know the non-English speaking persons, especially people from the Philippines, Nepal, a lot of Spanish, people from other places around the world. We have over 110 different nationalities here in the Cayman Islands, and so you need to be able to speak for yourself. And if you can't understand them properly and you see they're not understanding you, ask them if they have a translator. That's another thing the government should mandate, that some of these people have translators or access to a translator. They don't have to take out a work permit for a translator to have access to a translator for you. But that is that for right now. What I think I'm going to do is just take a break, and then I'll come back with what I wanted to discuss with off-reg and read some of your questions. Let me see here. I'm not inviting. No, I'm sorry. I'm not co-hosting with anyone. I'm just trying to give some information here and then jump off. Okay. We need more program like this. Thank you. If I wasn't so shy in front of the camera, you'd see me every day. Okay. Thank you all so much for liking the live. Someone asked, why do I stand instead of sitting? I like standing because honestly I have a little problem with my back, and standing like this kind of helps it instead of sitting down. But also standing, I think better when I'm standing, and I can smile more. I say hi to everyone. I've already said hi. And I hope most of you, what I'll do is I'll post this live again. Some of you will, again, you have to like and share the page. Like, follow, and share the page. I cannot believe the amount of views that the page gets, but people do not follow the page or like the content as much as I think they should. I'm surprised at the likes, really, but I think it should be more compared to who view the page. And most of the people that I see not following or liking are my fellow Caymanians. I'll be honest, I see people all the time, Caymanians all the time, and they're telling me about my content, but they're not following me. Why aren't you following me? Oh, I'm just looking. No, you're supposed to be supporting me as my fellow Caymanians, right? And so I look forward to seeing a lot of you more following me. I'm sorry I can't do scandalous content. I can't do whistleblowing. And that's never been what my content is about or who I am. I'm not about the expose. We already have platforms that are doing that, and they're very good at it. And I am happy because sometimes, it's been very helpful to everyone, not just what they do, but it's been very helpful. So I won't be that type of platform, just so you all can be aware. Now, if you confidentially reach out to me, that's a whole other thing. And so I just wanted to tell you, thanks for joining me. Right now, I'll be back, and I wanted to talk. No need to be shy because you're always beautiful. I am from the Grand Cayman Islands. Thank you, Gordon Jackson. Thank you, Vago 791. Thank you. It's always nice to, the government is score up, Andre. I don't know that, whatever that means, so I can't agree with you. Good day, lady, says James. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. So that's it for now, people. I'll be back on in a little bit talking about off-reg. Off-reg.